Everyday people working 9 to 5, saving up that money, trying to survive, investing in the future, trying to be wise. We're gonna be money heroes. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nik Johnson, host of Everyday Money Heroes, and I've reached early retirement. I'm here to provide information on how to obtain financial independence and inspire you through sharing stories of everyday people who are turning knowledge into freedom.
That hustle, always reaching for the sky. We're gonna be money heroes, never gonna shy.
Hello and welcome to Everyday Money Heroes. I'm your host, Nik Johnson, where our goal is to provide information and inspiration to people of all ages to take control of their financial journey. Today, we're going to talk about the big three. I'm not talking about Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and D Wade. I'm not talking about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. I'm talking about the big three, the three things that you need to do in order to get your financial house in order. These three things are foundational when it comes to preparing yourself to identify the best budget and where you're spending your funds when it comes to trying to get things where you like for it to go. So we're going to address the three things. Now, granted, there are a lot of things that you can do in order to get financially independent. But the thing is that these are the big three. We'll discuss some other things, but if you can just get these three things right, it's going to really set you up for success. So we're going to go ahead and discuss those now. So the first thing we're going to talk about is housing. Now, granted, we all understand that, we need a place to lay our heads. And if we can get our housing expenses in order, it will help us out significantly. So I'm going to have a couple stats here I'm going to share throughout this this session here. So first of all, according to the National Association of Realtors, the average mortgage in the U.S. in 2024 was $2,209 a month. Once again, that was $2,209 a month. That is the average mortgage in the United States. That's as of 2024. And that will put you at $26,508. That's for your mortgage alone. You might be saying, okay, I don't have a mortgage. I rent. So let's talk about those average numbers. The Washington Post reports that the average rent in 2024 was $1,712. And so that comes to a yearly total of $20,544. So we can see that a large amount of our spend is going to be where it comes where we lay our head. Because it's extremely important that we get that in order. So housing, number one. Once again, those numbers, $26,508 for a mortgage, $20,544 if you're renting. Okay, so number one, we're talking about housing. Number two, the second thing we're going to talk about. Now, these three things I talk about are in no particular order, but these are the three things that are important. Also, as you hear these averages, we ask it down in the comments. Is your mortgage above or below the average? Is your rent above or below? Do you have a mortgage? Do you pay rent? Let us know down in the chat, please. Transportation. So transportation is the second thing. And so we know coming out of the pandemic that the cost of transportation skyrocketed. And it really hasn't come down a lot. We purchased a car a little over a year ago. And our hope was that when we purchased that car, that those prices had come down. They had come down a little bit, but honestly, if you look at it from a dollar, kind of dollar per dollar basis, it hasn't really come down to pre-pandemic rates, especially with inflation and everything else going on. So the second thing we're going to talk about is transportation, and this is just when we talk about transportation, we're talking about the physical car. We're talking about everything that falls under that, whether it's metro passes, all that stuff. When it comes to the transportation, or paying tolls and all the other stuff. So the price of a new car in 2024, we're just talking about the average payment. So if you're financing it for a new car in 2024 was $737 a month. And that puts you at $8,844. And you might say, okay, well, I don't have a new car. I don't believe in buying new cars. I don't want the depreciation that comes with buying a new car. So if that's the case, let's look at the price of used cars. A used car average price per month when it comes to a payment was $520 per month. And that puts you at $6,240. Okay. And so first thing we looked at was housing. Second thing we looked at is transportation. Third thing we're going to look at is food. Okay. We all have to eat, we might eat different things. Some people might be vegan, might be, carnivore diet, whatever they want to do, but we all got to eat something, right? And so this information is based off of the USDA. Okay. So USDA recommends, they have a range. That range is from $976.60 to $1,585. Now that's for a family of four. Okay, so that's for a family of four. And so also based on those numbers, this includes all foods and snacks are prepared at home. So this doesn't include, going out, meeting up with friends, or just taking your family out to restaurants. So this is literally just food that you purchase, bring it to the home, and that you prepare yourself. So that particular point, if we kind of play the middle of the road in that range, that would be $1,280 per month, which will put you at $15,370.80. Okay. And so when we look at these three numbers overall, where do you fall? Do you know where you fall? That's why it's extremely important for individuals to, even if you don't budget, which is important, especially when you're starting off, you need to at least track where your money is going. Okay. Can you answer the question, hey, you know what? Based on the National Association of Realtors, my mortgage is above or below the average. If I look at my car payment, is my car payment for my new vehicle above or below the average in 2024? And also on my food spend, am I above and below? And if you just take the averages for all those things, if we take the average between the mortgage and the rent, if we take the average between a new car payment and a used car payment, and also if we take kind of the middle of the road when it comes to the food costs of what's recommended by the USDA per year, you're looking at $48,000. It's nearly 48,000. It's 47,000 and some change, but it's almost $48,000. So we're looking at the average American family spending $48,000 just on those three things. And not to mention, if you actually maybe you have two car payments, and then if you're looking at that, you got 48,000. You have another car payment on top of that. You're looking at possibly another $7,000. So you could easily be looking at $55,000. Like I said, that doesn't include any traveling, any clothes, anything like that. So if we can get those three things under control, it will help us to get a firm foundation on being able to identify where we're spending our money. Then once we identify how we're spending our money, we can then take the additional money that we have, if we decide to trim the fat, and then we could take that to start do things like reducing debt and investing, creating emergency funds and things of that nature. So what we want to do here is that, okay, what can I do to reduce those costs? And so what I'm going to do in the next few videos is that I'm going to go through, or the next few recordings that we have here, is that I'm going to go through and I'm going to identify some helpful ways that you can reduce the cost of housing, cost of transportation, and the cost of food. And so once we can go ahead and trim the fat in those areas, then we can start to realize some additional money without even having to create or generate more revenue. And because oftentimes individuals believe that, hey, if I could just make more money. Well, it's easier to spend less money than it is to make more money. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can trim the fat in our budgets, and then see how we can go ahead and leverage that newfound money. Also, one thing I want to say, if you find value in what we're doing here, I would ask that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you would subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast, that you would follow or subscribe there as well, that you would leave comments, whether it's on within Apple, Spotify, or on YouTube, and also share this with a friend, because what our goal is here is to empower individuals to understand that having financial independence isn't something that is unattainable. We want individuals to understand that once we understand some very simple and basic concepts around our money management, we can do way more than we thought. So that's all I have for you today. Once again, this is Nik Johnson, reminding you to like, share, subscribe, and to always trust the process. Have a great day.